the trick of the whole thing when we talk to a lot of golfers is, hey, how do I stop standing up? And it's like, well, you don't really. Like, you should do this standing up.
You just need more of the tilting
and
the turning piece through the ball. We're bent over, you stand up, then you would tilt to the right, and then you would turn.
And that blending of those from the down the line angle would have this sort of back angle that people would look like the inclination of the ground of in a golfer's term, maintaining that
Correct.
spine
Maintaining
angle.
your inclination to the ground. So right here, if we drew a vertical line from your belt up, see how there's like a back bend or like an angle away from this? That's showing you that you've extended properly. So you can see from the front view you have the extension, and from the down the line view you have the tilt, which keeps you in your inclination to the ground through the ball.
All right, so I've been waiting probably literally 10 years to find a right wrist training aid that I would fall in love with. I have this precision impact training aid that I have been testing now for the past couple of months to make sure I like it. This right wrist training aid, I'm telling you, I've tried them all, is unbelievable. You put this on your right wrist and you'll notice when I make a backswing, it gives me some auditory feedback, and I can set my right wrist about as far back as I can, and it locks that angle in. And it enables you to create the right wrist bend during the backswing, and also because of this little ball here, I can go up and down when I do it. It's absolutely freaking brilliant, and I've been using this a lot. It's gonna help your impact a ton. You go down below, you click the little link down there for Precision Pro, and you grab one of these. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. There's a little coupon code in there, you get 20 bucks off. Keeping the right wrist bent back, okay, is the key. Okay, so we're back out at the Bethlehem Golf Club with my coaching partner, Mr. Steve Saraki. You guys know Steve at this point. Steve, in today's video, we want to talk through really how to stay down through impact, right? And specifically the 3 torso motions into the follow through and how we blend these 3 together. So if I take my setup position, Steve, and we looking at from, let's say, from the face on camera or from the down the line, either one of them, it's really the blending of these 3 motions that gives us the look from the down the line camera of like the maintaining the spine angle.
Your inclination.
Inclination.
The spine flex is changing through the swing, so the inclination's being maintained through the ball.
And so like when a golfer we would work with would look at this angle, right? One of the things that they're gonna look at and maybe see is, hey, relative to the posture that I started with, they may see themselves at impact like something like this. So they've gotten their torso farther from the ground.
Even their head might come like off the wall.
Head's off the wall, maybe butt off the wall. And they've gotten taller or farther from the ground. And we get a lot of messages that come in, hey, how do I stop standing up? How do I stay down through the hit? And really the key to that is blending these 3 motions.
Right.
So maybe let's actually flip-flop spots. If you don't mind taking us through, like, what are those 3 torso motions that we're trying to blend together?
Well, the golf, you're set up, you're flexed over at the setup, and when you're coming through the ball, the golfer is standing up. Like, that is what's happening. You can't see it though from down the line, because as you're standing up, you're also tilting. So the spine's extending and it's tilting to the right the same degree, which keeps your head on the wall through the hit, so your inclination's being maintained through the ball. So it's really, like you just said, blending, or how to coordinate, doing the extension, doing the turning and the tilting, so you're not raising up through the ball.
Yeah, and I think if we go in and we even look, like if I was from both of these cameras and I stood up and I extended, tilted, and turned, right? That would give us the look from, can you do that from just for both of the cameras there?
Yeah.
Maybe just extend
So
first.
we're bent over, you stand up, then you would tilt to the right, and then you would turn.
And that blending of those from the down the line angle would have this sort of back angle that people would look like the inclination of the ground of in a golfer's term, maintaining that
Correct.
spine
Maintaining
angle.
your inclination to the ground.
Right. And so if we watch golfers, let's flip-flop there again, and we watch golfers go in and we look at it like a pie chart, let's say, just to keep it simple. I think an easy way to look at it would be as if you had like 33% of each of those categories, right? So like if I've got the right amount of the extension and the tilting and the turning, it looks good. If I have not enough of any one of those, or too much of one of the other ones, then it doesn't quite blend and look right. And most of the players who have this look where they're standing up, they have enough of the extension piece, let's say, but what they don't have enough of is the turning in the tilting piece.
Right.
Right? And so sort of when they look at that pie chart, it might be 66% extension. I'm making numbers up here,
Yeah.
right? And they don't have enough of those other two pieces. Would you say that that's the most common thing that you see?
It really depends on the skill level. I
Yeah.
would say the lower the handicap and better player, they have a tendency to stand up too fast.
Okay.
And that'll make them swing more to the right.
Yeah.
And then the higher the handicap, the less they'll extend. They'll stay more bent over. That makes them come more downwards and across the ball.
Yeah. So if I was the higher handicap player,
Yeah.
my pattern would look maybe something like this.
Yeah, your head would be, exactly, your head would be down and forward. You can see it from the front view. You're really exaggerating it here, but their inflection through the ball, right? There's no extension of their spine coming through. They're just staying bent over.
And then the opposite end, maybe the better player would look more like,
yeah,
maybe
they might tilt back. They might go more up and back through the ball. They'll have a lot of back bend through the hit, and that'll make the path at times go excessively out to the right.
too far to the right.
For a lower handicap player.
And as a mantra, and let's say checkpoint wise, from the down the line angle, we said if we draw the line up the back line,
Yep.
I'm looking to blend those motions to the point where I stay inclined to the ground.
Yeah, so do that again, right? So if we put this club here on your head right here,
Yep.
when you would swing through,
Yep.
if you just want to punch it out there, you'd relatively stay pretty tilted over. So your right shoulder's lower than your left, your head stayed on the wall, your neck might be a little bit more tilted to the right. That's keeping you in your side tilt through the ball, and that's helping to regulate the swing's direction through the ball so it doesn't go too far out to the right, more for a lower handicap player.
Right. And so as I'm keeping my head on the wall
Yep,
from this down the line angle, that keeps my tilt, my
Yep.
bent over.
yep,
And then from the face on angle,
yep.
we would look like if
So
we drew a
yeah,
circle around the head, right?
Yeah, do that again from the face on, and just hold your follow through. So right here, if we drew a vertical line from your belt up, see how there's like a back bend or like an angle away from this? That's showing you that you've extended properly. So you can see from the front view you have the extension, and from the down the line view you have the tilt, which keeps you in your inclination to the ground through the ball.
And from the face, from the down the line angle, for me to keep the inclination, I'm feeling more of the shoulder down, more of the tilt.
Yeah.
And then from the face on, if I drew like a circle around my head, and let's say I wanted to keep my head in the circle
Yep.
instead of going forward of it,
Yep.
the piece that I would feel to keep my head more back or the hip back would be the,
You'd be feeling like you're throwing your head backwards, going back to the ball. So we do this a lot in our lessons. We'd put a club right here in the left shoulder,
yep,
and when you would come through, you wouldn't allow your head to hit it. Now, what's funny about that is that sometimes the player will do this in a lesson. They'll feel like their head's going backwards.
yeah,
But because there's also a turning component to it, it's really staying stable.
yeah,
So
exactly.
you feel like you're going back, right? It feels like the head's going back, but as you're going through the ball, the shoulders continue to keep turning. So that's a forward force, and that keeps the head stable, not going back, even though the golfer feels like they're throwing their head back through the hit.
So as I'm going through, and I like sort of the mantra of doing that, of shoulder down,
Yep.
right? Chest and rib cage up.
Yeah,
It's kinda
button. Yeah, your sternum or your buttons like up to the sky,
versus,
staying flexed forward.
and as my shirt buttons would be down to the ground, my head obviously went forward to that circle.
Correct.
So as my rib cage and chest are up, my head's back,
Yep.
right? So it's like shoulder down, chest up, head back.
I'm fine with that.
Shoulder down, chest up, head back. So when you guys are practicing this, you feel the shoulder down on the way through. That keeps you bent over, inclined to the ground from this angle.
Yep.
You feel like the chest is up, head is back, and that keeps your head in the circle from this angle,
Yes.
right? And the hips are more forward towards the target versus like the shirt.
Which is really the tilt part of it. The hips moving forward helps create that rightward tilt that we were talking about in the very beginning,
And so,
which is a hint for our next video.
yeah, right. And now most of the players, if we went down the range, just kind of last point on this, most of the players we're working with, because when we work with the players online and when you in person, most of them need more of the extension.
Yeah, most of them need to do this drill where they hold the club on their left shoulder, and when they come through, their head doesn't hit it. So hold it right there.
Yeah.
That's the back bend through the ball, and I'll draw this vertical line again. here's the vertical line, and you see how your sternum's away from it and your head's away from it. That's the extension that we're talking about.
And I'm not doing it, my shoulders are level, straight up and down like this.
Yeah, you're doing the back bend as you're tilted over, which once again keeps your inclination to the ground.
So even if you had that, if you held that there and someone was practicing this and they wanted to hit the ball higher, farther, and maybe a little more draw bias, if you had the club there and they're keeping their head back, feeling their shoulder down.
Yes.
Hips are moving forward.
Yep, hips are moving forward.
Head staying back, shoulders down.
Right.
Let's do, can you hold that there again, Steve?
Sure.
Let's do one more with that. So head stays back. I'm gonna feel my shoulder down, shirt buttons up, head back.
And your hips were forward there too.
Yeah.
That was a nice one.
So how you stay down, go ahead.
Yeah, because like we said in the beginning, we're extending, right? So we're going like this through the ball. Literally the spine's going like this through the ball. We're extending. But as we're extending, the hips are moving forward, creating this rightward tilt, which is what you're saying, the shoulder down.
Yeah.
Which is negating the extension, it's regulating it. So that helps keep your inclination to the ground stable. I think that's a huge part to do. If you can blend that right, you're typically gonna be a 10 handicap or lower. If you can do that, the part pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's beautifully said. And it's like the trick of the whole thing when we talk to a lot of golfers is, hey, how do I stop standing up? And it's like, well, you don't really. Like you should do this standing up.
You just need more of the tilting
and
the turning piece through the ball.
And we've done those a lot in the past when we talk about that with some of like the early extensions we'll talk about next. It's not so much about like taking something out in a lot of those circumstances, it's adding more of the other two elements in. So shoulder down, chest up, head back. That's the easiest way to really stay down through impact and do it correctly, right, where you get all the benefits from all those pieces.
I agree.
Steve, thanks buddy.
You got it.
Appreciate you, thanks.